Hello and welcome to the Quiver channel. I'm Jason, your host. Primary coping strategies. What are my primary coping strategies as of today? Well, the Legends Ultimate behind me, that arcade machine, has taken over a massive amount of my coping strategies. I used to have a lot of retro tech around. An Atari 2600, PS2. I used to have multiple retro emulation systems, and this was all based on the idea of, if I can take my brain into the past and activate the memories and the situations from when life was simpler, life was less stress, less problematic. If I was having an overload situation, I could actually just drop back into my past and give myself a little bit of peace. Now, instead of having multiple systems out all the time, I would say that the Legends Ultimate has taken over 80% of that particular type of thing, because it isn't just being able to go back to 1979 and that my first experiences with Space Invaders. There's also Asteroids and all those kind of games, and it's got up in emulation for all of my Atari 2600 games and so on, all the way through. That system has so many games installed on it, and each one evokes a feeling of the past, an emotional resonance that allows me to, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a bad time, I can do that. So when that's taken over, I've still got my Amiga, which is better for remembering back in when I was like 20 years old or 18. And I've got other things around, but I would say 80% of that particular kind of thing is hooked into that Legends Ultimate now. I absolutely love it. My Steam Deck OLED is part of that comfort as well. I would say this takes up 10% of it, and my PS2 and my Amiga take up another 10% each, and all of them have that kind of tactile connection. Now, there is outliers, like my PC over here, just here, which is the 2001 PC, which I'm actually going to be moving and putting in storage because I don't use it anymore and it's taking up space here, so it's going to go in storage up in the attic. That is a primary thing. Now, this is a completely separate type of primary coping mechanism. This is for every morning when I wake up to get whatever's in my head out of my head. I always say, when I've got a bad day, should be able to tell if I've got a bad day if I do a lot of these videos. If I do videos like this all day, then I'm having trouble coping. Usually isn't when I think, ooh, I want to do a vlog on this. No, it's because that particular thought, that particular stuff is inside my head, and I need to get it out before my depression kicks in, before it triggers a bad memory, before something happens and it triggers something bad. I need to get it out into the vlog, so it helps. Either it's a positive or a negative, but it's either something good that's happening to me, or something bad, or something just meh, a normal day. But that first vlog each day, that thingy, usually just is like, once it comes out of here, it's part of my coping. Actually, it works. I've got my little fidget store toys, because as you know, you see me fidgeting a lot of that. So yay. Having these two. I don't wear a watch to tell the time, because normally I would never wear watches. I wear these because they're pieces of technology, and so they're a comfort, and they can help me with data and knowing things and shiny technology, and that helps. My brain's just gone blank. Oh boy. No, focus, Jason. Focus, you know what you're doing. No, you don't. The Quingo and the Pride scooter has become a major part of my coping strategy, being able to leave the house and go for an explore on them. This was still a very new side to things, because I am actually astounded still that I can actually leave the house. It's like a concept that's like, wow, I am actually outside my house, and it makes me so happy. And it's doing vlogs while I'm wandering around the streets and there and chatting to you all. It's all part of a massive part of therapy. Munchies is still primary form, and Beat Saber. I freaking love Beat Saber. Rhythm games don't. It's a coping strategy that I can do daily that just makes me feel connected to the world. It's a physical for when my brain wants to. I used to punch my leg a lot, and I think when it comes down to it, Beat Saber takes that kind of physical frustration that just something. Yeah, literally. When I was with Paola, one of my things was I would just be sitting down and I'd punch my leg over and over and over until basically I gave myself dead legs all the time. It was just a repetitive that helped ground me in physical, and in some ways Beat Saber does the same thing as well. And my lightsabers, I've got 2 lightsabers downstairs that I use in the backyard usually each day, and those are a very physical, tactile response, because sometimes my brain needs mental, like the games and all that. Sometimes my brain needs the purely physical act of doing something with my hands, and so that helps a lot in those situations. There's so many coping strategies. Oh my god. Of course, my Audible books. What would I do without my Audible books? Holy shit. Actually scares me, the idea of not having my Audible books. Because when I'm walking around my house, when I'm alone, when there's no one here, if I want to function from A to B, if I want to walk around the house, if I want to go downstairs and do the dishes, if I want to fold washing, if I want to do any normal task around the house, and I'm alone and there's no one here, then I have to have my Audible book on in the background so I can cope and function. I always think my next door neighbour must think I'm weird because they can be in their backyard and all of a sudden they'll hear me come out to my back door to put washing out or to get the dog poop off the ground or things like that, and they'll hear like part of a weird weird sci-fi, high sci-fi fantasy audiobook playing as I go out there into the backyard. But it all helps me cope. Every day I am looking for new or alternative ways to use what I've already got to strengthen my coping strategies, to deal with something that might trigger me, to try to figure out what I can do to help alleviate stressful situations. When I leave my house on my Quingo, the first time I started to leave the house on a mobility scooter, I took my entire world with me. I literally took my entire world with me. I had like 3 different laptops with me. I had power supplies. I had everything. I was adding like 20 kilograms to the weight of the vehicle in stuff that was basically, if I had to, I could have camped out with my vehicle and turned it into a safe space anywhere. It was crazy. I've eased back a bit from there as things like the vlogging and that. And the thing is, when it comes down to my phone has become. I no longer game on this because the screen's too small for me. But having this in a backpack with me allows me to deal and function with like 40–50% of my entire thing. Then I've got different things with me on top of that when I'm outside the house. But I've been able to refine and pare back. I don't need to take all of the stuff. I still have my hoodie on with all of my equipment in there, and I have a bag usually with me that's got equipment on. And I've got all the stuff, but nothing like the amount I used to have to carry when I first started. It's normalized. I trust my vehicle enough that I don't have to think, oh my god. The chances of one of my vehicles running out of charge or breaking down is rare because they're so well maintained. And that's so I even though I've got the number on here for breakdowns and anything, and I can deal with it, it's not as primarily needed. So yeah, I have more coping strategies than I could ever list just in my thingy. I am always trying to make sure that I don't do something with something's been bothering me. It's weird. I've got my my brain's sort of thinking to itself, what's happening here? Because down there, it's weird. Down there is my wheel that I use with American Truck Simulator, and that. For some reason, it's on backwards. It's on backwards, and it's bothered me. I'm going to have to fix it. And what do I mean backwards? Well, it's a set of accelerator and paddle and that. And it's on backwards. It's on the little unit backwards. What do I mean? I need to show you this. It's so random. But it's on backwards and it's bothering me. And I'm wondering, why did I put it on backwards? What do I mean by backwards? Well, I'll show you what I mean by backwards. Let's just take this here and unplug it from the thingy. I keep this phone put on there. So let's just look down here. This. Doggy! It's on backwards. Look, there's the wheel there. It's on a frame here that allows you to sit in front of it and use the wheel. And it's got a set of pedals. But the pedals are on backwards. Literally, if this is facing you, Your feet need to go to the pedals. The pedals are on backwards. Why are the pedals on backwards? The weird thing about it is the pedals on backwards. I've used it. I've used it. Used it recently to set it up and that, and the pedals are on backwards. And I don't. That's bothered me. I'm going to have to go and figure out what's happened with that. The pedals on backwards. Bye bye for now. The pedals are on backwards and that bothers me. I'm trying to figure out how did I last use it if the pedals were on backwards. The pedals are on backwards and that's bothering me a lot, as you can tell. I've got to go fix this and won't figure out and investigate and try to figure out how I last used it. Because I didn't imagine myself using it, I actually used it and the pedals are on backwards, so how did I use it with the pedals? Those pedals are screwed down in place by a bar above them. They're fixed on the actual base of that unit. So it's a unit so that you can have it in front of your chair and that without it need to be connected to a desk and that. But the pedals are on backwards. I feel like my world's just gone weird. Bye bye.